Hey, hello world. Welcome to Roll and Keep, our actual play show over here at Fandom Tabletop. We are currently in a setting called Eidolon Alpha, powered by Cortex Prime. This is, think Hades, think Blood of Zeus, think Final Fantasy, all sort of like smished together and GM'd by our fantastic community manager and so much more. Mellie, who's absolutely incredible. Thank you guys for being here and watching and checking things out. Or if you're watching on YouTube in the future, thank you for being here as well. We really appreciate it. Please, please, please follow, like, subscribe, do all of those things so that we can keep the lights on here and keep doing what we're doing. We really, really appreciate it. Business stuff, Cortex Prime, also the engine that runs Tales of Xadia, the official RPG of the Dragon Prince on Netflix. That is available for pre-order right now. Link in the description below if you're watching on YouTube. Links being dropped into chat if you're watching on Twitch. And then speaking of Cortex Prime, we're going to give away some copies of the book for Heroic Successes. You'll find out what those are as we go. And I believe some summoning might happen. I told you there's a little bit of Final Fantasy here, and if summoning in Final Fantasy is your jam, I think you're probably going to enjoy this episode. So some giveaways will be triggered by that as well. Mellie, I don't mean to put you in the Vanna role, but will you hold up the Cortex Prime book one more time? Because we were actually we were just talking artists in here, and it's an absolutely beautiful book. It really, it's gorgeous. So we're going to be giving away digital copies. It's absolutely wonderful. And speaking of wonderful, this cast, Aliza Pearl taking the week off. We will see her next week. Much love to Aliza. Vanessa Guerrero is here. And hello. Cam Banks, who wrote the book on Cortex, literally also here. And finally, Eidolon Alpha, being run by our own Mellie. I'm Joe. I don't matter. Mellie, take it away.
Yes, that was Joe Starr, in case you haven't met him before. And he's wonderful no matter what he says. So, a little recap for you all. Our heroes, newly armed with the knowledge of Skotos, an ancient, corrupting entity, anathemic to the very echo of this world, began to form loose plans for their next destination, the fabled ruins of the Fates. But there was little time to plan, as a ship from Connemara, the Chimera city-state, arrived in Ophelium, the Wyvern city-state, where they were looking for Vanessa's character, Lysandra, and the scrolls that she had liberated from the burning library. Allied with Ophelium, the guards of the city came to retrieve her, but not before they could be tipped off and make their escape. As they made their way through the labyrinthine cave structure of the Wyvern Temple, the group discovered the temple maiden Phoebe entranced by one of the paintings on the cave walls, and Zephyrinus, Joe's character, soon fell into the same trance. And then the ink itself, corrupted by the trace of Skotos brought there by Zeph, had turned monstrous, coming to life to threaten the party and the scrolls. Managing to fend off these stains of Skotos and realizing they didn't have the scrolls that they needed, the party split, Delphine leading the group through the caves with the Minotaur's ease and Zeph racing to steal the scrolls from the hands of a Connemoran captain. With scrolls in hand, the Skotos corruption inside of Zeph tried to convince him to destroy them, but he managed to fight it off. And the power of the Griffin helped expel the void from within him on the outskirts of the temple. Tracked by the captain, Ectonios acted quickly and courageously to soar to Zeph's aid and bring him to the rest of the group. And now boarding a less than seaworthy vessel, our heroes sail into the Sea of Coursey and toward their destination, hoping these fates aren't just a fable and that they can provide some kind of answer. And before we jump into things, I'd actually like for us to talk a little bit about one of the things that happens in a lot of RPG games, which is growing your characters. And you can do that in Eidolon Alpha too. Don't know if y'all knew that, but we're going to talk a little bit about character growth. In Eidolon Alpha, you do this by spending sessions. So as we've had 3 sessions, this group is potentially able to spend some of them and sort of update their characters. And I'm going to just sort of let you all decide how you feel about that, but I'll quickly go over the options that you have for that. So since we have 3 sessions available, I'll kind of go over those lesser cost ones. So if you would like, you can spend one session, to create a signature asset that'll be at a D6 from a temporary asset that has existed. So, you could make that little badge of your brother, Joe, or the scrolls themselves could be something. Phoebe could be something. There's lots of options there. You can switch out your freeform distinction for a new one if you wanted to rewrite that about yourself, or you can add an SFX to a signature asset you already have or that you're creating. Spend 2 sessions to step up a signature asset, add a specialty, which is kind of like a very narrow skill. So like you wouldn't put something like fighting, but you might put swordplay as your specialty, or unlock another endarch distinction SFX. So your endarch distinction has an SFX on it. You could get another one. And finally, you can spend 3 sessions to switch out your role distinction for a new one. So if you wanted to change your tireless tracker of man or the big-hearted captain, those things, you can change those, or you can step up a role for 3 sessions. So I'll turn that to you guys. I will maybe turn that to Cam first. Cam, did you want to spend any sessions to grow Tony?
Growing him from his usual small size to gigantic size. No, he can't do that. He doesn't have that ability. Looking at the Gorgon's distinction for the Gorgon's Petrarch, there are 2 SFX in the book. One of them I already have, which is stepping up my stone skin power when I'm defending against manufactured weapons, which is great. It's pretty much all weapons except things on monsters. But there's another one called, which is just spend a plot point to join or leave a scene that is already underway, which means I can fly off and just leave if I feel like it, which I think is quite fun. But I haven't been the kind of character so far who does that. I think Zephyr does that more than I do. And he in fact has that ability if he wants it. So I think I'm gonna hold off on anything this week. So I think I have a plan for next time. But what I want to do maybe is to step up a thing at some point. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to unlock any more SFX this stage.
All right. Vanessa, would you like to spend any sessions?
Yes, actually. I was looking through these and I realized at the beginning of this, Lysandra, our little bookworm, had this idea that immortality can only be found in pages, but that's what happens when you spend your entire life guiding a library. She's done a lot of growth, and so I want her to start applying some of that. So I want to switch out my distinction from immortality can only be found in the pages to I read about that once, because she can finally start applying some of the stuff that she read once to these new life experiences.
I love it. Fabulous. So yeah, that is 1 session. Boop. Excellent. And Joe, did you want to spend any sessions?
Yeah, I'm going to be the boring, crunchy player of the game, and I'm going to spend... How many sessions do we have? 3?
3.
You have 3 sessions right now, yeah.
I'm going to spend 3 sessions to step Warrior up to D8.
All right. Big spender.
Fight stuff.
So yeah, we got some growth that has happened. So this kind of just covers these last few sessions and the ways that you've chosen to kind of play your characters and interact with them. And we will jump in now with that determined. As you've all been sailing for most of the day. The action back at the temple happened in the morning, and you've just rode on Ectonios and Delphine, kind of sharing that burden with their incredible strength, able to sort of push you forward, just hoping that through some will of the Eidolons that you can outrun the larger trireme with many people rowing, hopefully. The boat is pretty cramped with 5 of you, but perhaps, better to rub shoulders here than, in a cell or worse. Phoebe herself is fast asleep, kind of curled as tightly as she can be at your feet, her long night of entrancement clearly having taken a toll on her. And Zeph, too, you felt better. Recently expunged of what you'd been carrying within consciousness has evaded you, which leaves 3 of you. Lysandra, you're sort of trying to keep the pouch of scrolls away from the splashes of seawater that are easily making their way into this little boat, just for the sake of how many people are in here and how far out you're all going. And neither 2 rowing. And Vanessa, with the Wyvern Oracle's faith that maybe you could discover something more about these scrolls, I would like to throw it to you. Would you like a chance to roll and see if you're able to come up with a new solution for this? It'll be a very difficult test. It'll be 2d12, but you could potentially learn something.
Let me roll, yeah.
Yeah, all right, let me set a difficulty for you. So like I said, it's going to be very difficult because, again, these are in a very ancient language and you don't really understand it. The Wyvern said that, maybe looking at it from another angle might work, and you're not sure exactly what he meant by that. He seemed a little, but maybe worth a little bit of thought since you're just sitting here waiting anyways. So.
Yeah.
You roll these dice.
I feel I was literally about to say the words. I feel like you've been rolling really well lately, and I'm scared.
Well, you had very good reason to be.
Yeah.
A 17. That's just a little 17. It's nothing. So you can go ahead and tell me, how would you like to approach this?
2d12 is really hard.
How would I like to approach this? It feels like you just rolled what like a really big sandwich that I can't take a bite out of is, where it's just like, I deconstruct the sandwich, I can't approach this normally. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go with reason, because I'm trying to talk someone into giving me some answers. Guardian of letters, because I would like to know what's going on with these. This doesn't really count for a power, and then I'm gonna go with priest because these pertain to the scrolls that my whole deal is about. And
Sure. So, and I will also say, like, you could potentially, if you and the other person can kind of tell me how, somebody can help you. In Eidolon Alpha, if you help in this way, you give that person an attribute die. Correct, Cam?
Yep.
yeah.
You're just picking one of the things, one of your innate qualities, which is what attributes are, and you just help out in that way. You can't lend your warrior skill, but you can lend your vigor, for example.
Ooh, in that case, I want to ask Zeph if he
is
wants.
unconscious.
Nope, he's unconscious. If he just wants to be a body that I can like rest my shoulders on to be like, hey kid, let's rap.
That's
Under your
passive.
table?
You know what? I'm gonna ask Ectonios because Tony was the first person that I had like a heart-to-heart with. And definitely is like the best at thus far at like getting honesty out of people. So I feel like the two of us will just be like a wall of like give us answers.
So what are we trying to accomplish necessarily here with this impossible task that you've got before you? Because that 17 is pretty good.
I'm trying to think of like the best way you can like
you're leading in with what? And then I can throw in some like I can be wingman Tony.
Yeah. So I want to ask a few questions about the scrolls, but I think if I can like go in like if I could be the one that goes in a little bit gently and you could be the one that like goes in with like more of a direct line of questioning, then they'll have to like answer one of us.
Yes.
Yeah. One's
So-
the direct one and one's the gentle one.
You want to be the gentle one, or I'll be the gentle one? I'm the big-hearted guy. So
All right, you'll be the gentle one and I'm going to try. I've been direct before.
I should really be awake for this.
I know. All right, so I'm gonna go with anytime that I'm like a little bit too like harsh in my line of questioning, I'm gonna have Tony be the gentle balm at the end of it. So let me see. So how much would be like that as an asset?
So I feel like that would be, that would probably be your guile, Cam.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're trying to sort of, Vasa, maybe like you're trying to communicate almost with the Eidolons and kind of maybe let them help you get some answers out of this.
Right. Well, so, okay. You're trying to speak directly into the echo.
Yeah.
And you're asking me okay. Well, that is guile. I'm trying, because you're talking to the Chimera probably, right? Because that's who you actually have the pipeline to.
Yeah.
So not anyone else so it'll have to be guile. I'm trying to have to make things up as I go along. So it is not going to be reason from me. It is going to be definitely guile. So that's a D6 you can have.
Okay. D6.
Right.
Anything so that I can try and go against this very large sandwich of a roll.
Yeah.
All right.
But hey, at least you've got a plot point, so...
To be expected.
Do you have 2 plot points or just 1?
Do you have any left over from last time, or?
I have 2.
You can spend both of them and keep those 2 dice in your roll. Then you'll edge it over, and you'll only have a D4 for your effect die, but that's still... Like, you see, currently your effect die is a D8 with a 5 on it.
Yeah.
And there's that leftover 2 up there.
Yeah.
And you need to beat 17. You can't do it with just a 5.
No.
You can't do it with a 2, but you can do it with both. But there goes all your plot points.
Okay, so...
Up to you. Do you want to spend both your plot points and succeed? Or...
Just talk into the
leave
ether
it in.
nicely and have nothing come back.
You know what? I'm gonna let this one be a fail. Because it's interesting that way.
All right. So yeah, you're sort of just you've laid all of these scrolls out onto Zeph's back because he's not using it right now.
He's my desk right now.
And all of them are jumbles. They're so hard to make out. You just kind of have there's 10 of them just all over, and you're really struggling to make sense of any of this. And so you kind of try the different angle thing a bit, maybe, but then you've got a connection to the Chimera. You might as well just use it. So you focus yourself, try to kind of connect in and get yourself in tune with the echo that is just, it ties you to the Chimera, and it also ties you to other endarchs, to the people here in this boat with you, to people beyond this boat, and kind of focusing on that connection. There's this, before you can even connect, like this tightening of the sound, almost like there's usually this beautiful harmony. There's all these different chords being struck that come together into this beautiful overtone. But in this moment, it is discordant. And you try to push out these kind of extraneous sounds. You don't want to hear the Gorgon, you don't want Zeph's thing, you don't want any of this, you just want the Chimera. And you kind of get it down to these kind of 2 notes that they're discordant, but they're making this harmony together. And as you kind of focus, you're trying to just get rid of this last sound and get back down to just the Chimera and just kind of focus on this one echo and get to the source of it. That's when it kind of breaks down in your mind and you feel almost this snap. And for a moment, it almost feels like you've lost it. Like everything, every connection you have to the Chimera for a moment just mutes and you feel human. It snaps back to you after another moment.
I don't know what's...
So the other thing too, if I'm helping you out, anything bad that happens to you will help you get the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder whether, as you're narrowing it down, I'm trying to help by resting my hand on your shoulder. I'm standing behind you and hand on your shoulder, maybe to try and direct it at least towards the Gorgon and the Chimera, and then you can eliminate the Gorgon with my help, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not working because I suck at this.
and at the same moment too, as you're trying to help with this, Ectonios, is that you feel this lightning shock that pulls your hand away from her as she kind of reacts to this snap as well. That something is disconnected and wrong, and it's making it so it's not necessarily that you've failed at reaching out and connecting, Lysandra. It's that the connection itself has something wrong with it.
It's just this mental block. At first I thought I just couldn't focus because Zephyr is snoring so loud. But there's something else. There's just something I can't. It's just foggy. It's muddy.
Yeah, I can't help you. I don't know. I'm not even feeling anything myself. I thought you just got in the way. I think maybe I don't know, kind of just stepped on each other's toes. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, but
sorry I couldn't help you anymore.
Thanks for giving it a shot. You've been a great support, Tony.
Yeah, well, I'm not as supportive right now as Zeph is, lying there with his back propping up everything, but I gotta get back to maybe helping these fellas row.
Thanks.
Fellas, it's just me, Stealthy.
Turn around and realize there's nobody else on this. Oh.
But you Delphine has been sort of kind of taking over. She's incredibly strong.
Yeah.
But she also seems like she has a very strong sense, her Minotaur sense of she also seems to have kind of noticed that was a little weird. And she sort of mentions that she knows that there's, kind of some small islands in this area, and she's been sort of directing you all towards one where she hopes that maybe we can get a little bit of a break to figure out what is going on and everything. So you eventually do get there. You get to this small speck of an island, no more than probably 30 feet in diameter, but it's rocky and just bulging with kind of this remnants of what maybe was an inactive volcano before it just collapsed in on itself. It's something large that you can sort of find some cover in, maybe like hide the boat a little. And as you sort of take a breath, you can kind of gather up the scrolls and take in your thoughts. Delphine doesn't get out of the boat. She says, y'all just hold up here, get a quick I think I know a place around here that I think I can scrounge up some help. I'll be back soon. Just stay hidden and look, I'll find you. I've got a good sense of direction. And she takes the small boat and she rows off. Which leaves Lysandra and Ectonios kind of having to sort of figure out what's next. Like, you've been being followed, presumably, though they haven't found you yet. And none of you have really dealt with the fact that Zeph sort of vomited up a whole bunch of void goo.
Yeah.
Which is an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give him a good checking over to see if anything's going on with them. My die in priest is enormous, as you know, which means that my ability to help him out is likely going to be extremely successful. But I'm going to try and bring him around and see if I can do that.
Sure. Yeah, you can give that a shot.
I am
ahead.
certain, to be honest, I want to say this. I think it's absolutely the case that Lysandra is better at doing all the things that I try to do than I am, but I don't care. I'm going to try anyway.
You're going to do it. You're going to try to help him, so you've got to kind of get him laid down in some of the sandier areas of this rocky island. There's a little bit of brush you kind of pull off and put under his little head as a pillow. So cute. It's me at 2d8s to sort of give him this check over. You sort of had a little experience with this because of that, past encounter with those two Manticore cultists that had been infected with this. So you sort of maybe know what you're looking for, but it's still not easy. So roll these 2d8s.
I have 1 plot point carried over from last time, so...
Excellent. I got an 8 total.
Well, that's average. Let me put a d6 in priest there for my dice pool, and I guess I'm trying to use reason. And my big-hearted captain, I'm trying to help him. Oh, stand fast against the shadow is the one I think I used last time for this. So I'll do that. I have 0 powers that make any sense, unless I want to turn him to stone to help him wake up. But probably not. I don't know if
Turning
that'll
people
go
to
over
stone's
well.
a very classic healer kit technique. No one
Yeah.
really talks about it,
in
but
Iedrum, yeah, we it's like if oh no, he's broken a limb, let's turn him to stone and take him back home and we'll fix it there, you know.
that's true.
You don't need a splint if you've got petrification. I'm going to do this. That's very important. All right. So let me just roll this. I don't have much of a chance of doing this. We'll see. Ka-dunk. I got a 14. That's really good. About a hitch.
Excellent. That's super good. That's a heroic success, even.
Ooh.
Despite the hitch. Which I'm gonna buy that hitch from you.
Okay.
But first, can you describe to me sort of your approach to this? Like, how are you interacting with Zeph here?
Well, first of all, I lay him down. I've got his head between my enormous big gorgon hands. They're not actually that big. I've got big hands, but I'm also very broad. The thing that people don't know about me, right, is that I'm not really that super strong. I'm not actually like a big guy. I can turn to stone. I can make myself look kind of like a beefy guy, but I'm not really a beefy guy. So what I am, though, is I've got a big heart, and that's what really matters. And so I'm going to kneel next to him and have his head between my hands, and just look into his closed eyes, and then sort of like open up one lid and then open up another lid, and kind of like seeing if his like this. And then dig my finger into his mouth and see if there's any more goo in there. And then just kind of like turn his head side to side. And then kind of like maybe his neck's not too good, so I'll give him a bit of a neck twist. And then I'll just sort of poke him a couple times in his chest.
Awesome. So you're doing all this just kind of like as you kind of get the fingers in the mouth, there's a little and you do the neck twist, and Zeph, that brings you awake kind of with a bit of a shout. And so I'm gonna buy that hitch. It's gonna be just a D6. Someone's listening.
Someone's listening. Uh-oh.
But yeah, so Zeph, you're conscious, and Ectonios, as his just eyes kind of burst open, and you kind of have given him this once over. They look clearer than they have since you met him. Like they are bright and alert. And Zeph, despite how you were feeling before you fell unconscious, where it was probably the worst you had felt physically in a long time, emotionally you've had worse. Physically in a long time, in this moment, you actually feel like incredibly fresh and great. But as your eyes sort of peel open and you bring yourself to consciousness, you can see kind of just off of one of the rocks as a head sort of ducks down and kind of peels around the side of this kind of rocky hill.
Cool. Yeah, that's the first thing I see, but then my eyes refocus on the thing that's right in front of me, and I panic and I bite Tony's fingers.
Instinctively, the finger goes into stone and like, broken finger. No, it's all right. It's right. Hey, buddy, how's it going? You woken up? You feeling better? Thanks for biting my fist.
What were you doing?
Just Adram medical techniques. That's what the physicians in my city-state are really good at, waking people up from being conked on the head a couple times by falling masonry. It just happens a lot.
Thanks.
Yeah, so don't worry. Over here, we've got Lysandra, we've got me, we're on an island, we've got you. Delphine's gone off to do something with a ship, but we're here looking for the fates. So it's time to just,
If they exist.
Who was that?
What? Oh, Phoebe.
Yeah.
That's Phoebe. Who's that? And I keep pointing towards the rocks.
Yeah, when you if you turn around and look, the head sort of ducked out of the way before you've looked. You just see kind of this rocky hillside.
We're not.
It's definitely
And
something.
I run for the whatever that is.
And then
Yeah, I'll
I
just-
run after Zeph.
I'm still kneeling where they were. Like, okay.
Great. Zeph, I'd like to do a test to try and catch up to this mysterious person here. So I'm going to go ahead and set up some dice. They've got a couple of D8s here, and they've also got... Oh, actually, I don't think those would apply. Interesting. Yeah, those traits wouldn't help them in this situation, so I'm going to go ahead and just roll 2d8s. Wow. Well.
Oh, wow.
Well.
Hmm.
So I got a 7. I did get a hitch. I believe the only person with a complication right now is Mr. Banks at Tonios. So, Joe, if you'd like to let Cam have a go at it, Cam, you'd be able to spend a plot point and step that down if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm going to step down. I'm going to spam a point. I'm going to step it down so that someone is listening is now a D4.
Excellent.
And I'll use it sometime and it'll go away.
All right. Joe, how would you like to approach this? How would you like to beat this 7?
Okay, so what exactly is sort of happening? They're like calling butt and we're in pursuit.
Yeah, exactly. So you just sort of started running after them. This is a very small island, but there's this just rocky structure in the middle. And this person, you saw them just kind of like duck down and kind of move so that they were skirting around it. So it's like almost a little Scooby-Doo-esque, as there's just sort of this round thing in the middle that you can't catch sight of each other unless you're faster.
Got it. Cool. So yeah, so Zeph takes off running, and the last time he took flight, like his like sort of his forearms, like all the feathers sort of started to come out, and that sort of starts happening again. But also all the muscles in his legs start to shift as his lion legs sort of start to form, and he uses those to springboard off the ground to keep up with this person. With just all sorts of cape things happening that break every rule that we learned in The Incredibles. And so I'm going to use, I guess, Scout here, because I'm tracking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're right in front of me, but I'm tracking them.
There they are.
I'm going to use Grace. Going to use Tyler's Tracker of Men. This is what I do. And so even if they get away, I'm still coming. And then since he's just sprung into the air, I'm using Flight.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Here we go.
Pile of dice.
Can you possibly
Roll.
beat 7 with all that?
Roll in this pool. I won't. I promise you, I won't. I never want my characters.
Oh!
I did. Yay!
Amazingly, in fact.
Yeah.
This is a heroic success again.
Yes!
So, another giveaway
Weren't
in the
our
chat room.
mods saying something about this frequency by which we get heroic successes, Mellie?
Which is crazy, because I do roll pretty well in this campaign, and yet
Yeah.
you all roll better somehow.
Well-
Somehow.
I'm excited because, like, I never want my characters. Well, sometimes I want my characters to be comedy characters, but they usually turn into comedy characters because I just roll horribly, like across. So they just turn into just like buffoons. But here we go. Yay! I did good. I did it good.
Amazing. So and also D10 attack die is amazing. So what happens here? You are definitely going to be able to catch this person. And in addition to that, as you kind of soar upwards, cutting them off, you see as they were kind of moving some like reeds and other things kind of near the base of the other side, that they were going into what looks like kind of a small like hidden crevice. And you cut right in front of them and keep them from getting into there. And this person, you see this woman with just this kind of dark, lanky, wet, like almost wet hair, just covered in this like sheen of sweat, like she's like really hot. Like it's not that hot out. It is, a very warm location, but it's not hot enough to be like just doused in sweat. And she's just wearing these like loose linen, and she has a sword at her side. And you cut her off. She's just like, and she goes to reach for her sword. And Lysandra, you are kind of coming up behind. So what would you like to do as you kind of come around to see this?
All right, she's reaching for her sword.
Mm-hmm.
Stab her.
Just stab her. Just lunge and stab her. No, because I just realized I, as someone that was chased down by Zeph at some point, attacked.
It's true.
Because a guy was chasing me. So we don't know if she's an ally or not. So I'd like to incapacitate her using my abilities with fear. Because then that'll give me some answers as to what this stranger is terrified of.
Yeah, that's a good way
Amazing.
of doing it. Just terrify the crap out of somebody.
That's how I made my new 3 friends.
Yeah. I mean, in the situation that she's in, and with the power of that fear effect, and with Zeph here, that is so easily done that she cannot resist this effect. And so you focus this energy. What does that look like for you when you're bringing this fear effect up? Like, how do you do that?
I'm trying to remember, because last time I know I did it while I was in the middle of being like a weird bird, not bird. So I'm going to go back to the push method we initially talked about, and it's something that I can do with eye contact. So I get in between her and Zeph, and I look her in the eyes, and I hold her gaze until eventually I like connect with her and find out what that thing that she's afraid of is, and basically act like I'm a projection screen, essentially. It's basically like I'm just a blank projection screen, and their eyes are just the movie of what their greatest fears are.
Cool. Yeah, you see this just a bunch of images of manacles, of like cell doors, like iron bars. You see a looming figure above, but there's this light behind it, like it's this very powerful and good figure. But it doesn't, as she's kind of like looking up at it and has this moment, this thing turns away from her and just like leaves her. And she just is racked with this fear and panic. And then an image of Zeph and you also pops into her mind, because in this moment, she's afraid of y'all for sure. And she just kind of like freezes in fear for a moment and then like turns like she's just gonna like run into the ocean. She just is turning on her heel.
I want to grab the back of her dress. But also, if I can, just like gently move away that sword so we can have talking time.
Absolutely. Tony, are you joining the group, or are you staying back with?
Yeah, I wander over. Phoebe's with me, I think. Or at least I don't want to have Phoebe stay by herself, because who knows? We'll leave her, and then some other weird-haired woman go up and take her away.
You shake her awake. She'll come with you easily. Oh, is it? Oh, it wasn't a nightmare, was it? Oh no. All right. I guess I am here with you. That's great.
I'll say, shh, it's okay. We're on an island in the middle of the sea, and we've got someone we're dealing with. So just stay awake a little longer.
Phoebe just sees me holding a woman over the ocean and a sword in the other hand.
I'm going to go over there and take care of some problems a little bit. So I'll... All right.
So you go and join. So Zeph, Lysandra, you have this person captured. There's traces of what might be kind of an entrance to some kind of cave system against that hill. What would you all like to do in this moment?
Well, since we're all real stab happy today, let's ask some questions like, who are you? Why are you spying on us? And Zeph, why do you attack everything that looks at us from a corner?
Because what? Let me do my thing.
Oh God, letting him do his thing almost got me killed. All right, who are you and why are you spying on us?
This is sort of this is our island. So I was just was scouting. That's all. I was fishing. Not scouting, I was fishing. So I get the voice mixed up sometimes, you know.
You're fishing with this.
Yes.
It's
Swordfish.
Swordfish. Do I see
There's a
this
big fish around here.
This space that's been opened up and freed up? Can I have a little? Can I poke at that with my foot, maybe?
Yeah, for sure. You kind of a little poking around there. It is just a very thin, so you would really have to squeeze. Which is probably why they weren't able to get away very quickly when a super speedy griffin man took flight in front of her. It is definitely leading into something, and you can feel also as you kind of put your foot there, the heat coming out of this little small crevice here as well.
And it's like in the ground, or is it on the side of a?
It's kind of a little bit off, just to the bottom of this. Like if you were going in here, you'd squeeze, and you'd probably be kind of sliding down with your feet first to kind of get yourself in through this little.
And I'm imagining all this in my head right now, looking at this thing and thinking, oh, that sounds dangerous. Well, what have we here? I'll say in a.
A hill. My house. This is my house.
This is your house.
Yes. This is my house and my island, and I was fishing, and I was gonna go and because I didn't have a net. I needed a net.
Well, from one terrible liar to another.
I'll handle this. I'm handling this. And I get in and I say, what do you know about a terrible achy darkness that takes hold of your soul and starts to affect your decisions and your moral core?
Nothing?
Oh, well, that's just not a lot of use. You know.
Yes, I'm not a lot of use. I'm not at all a use. I can just. You can stay if you'd like. It's my island. You can stay if you'd.
Are there others with you? Are there more people down in that hole?
Nope.
Is that a lie?
We can do a little contest here if we'd like.
Sure. I'm just gonna say, is that a lie? And what I want to get out of this is it a lie?
Yeah. You want to get some real answers, so go ahead and roll some dice, Cam.
I've got some guile, not much of it, and I'm. You can't use crafter to be crafty. Just by the way, in case anyone was watching this thinking that's an alternate use of that role.
Right. Does mean what it means.
Once again, some priest and some guile, my two best dice. But I'm kind of a leadery, a big-hearted guy. I'm actually more likely to believe people, which is a problem. So I'm going to use my big-hearted captain as a hinder.
Okay.
Also, because I'm completely out of plot points, and so
there you go. So you get one out of it. It's a good way to start a contest.
I feel that's a good thing. Put that up there, and then I'm gonna roll. So I lead off with an 11. That's actually pretty good.
That's a little hitch there.
But I get a hitch, yeah.
You do get a hitch. We heard about that. Someone's listening, but that's okay.
Oh yeah. He's
I'll
right in front of you.
I'll buy that hitch actually. No, I'm gonna leave that on the table. I'll leave that for you.
Well, we'll go back.
You just got yourself a plot point. You can keep that one. So 11. That's great. Well, she has some traits here. She's brash, so she's pretty brazen about just bald-faced lies and not telling the truth. She's also a pirate, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that in. And she is at this time. It's a little difficult to get a good read on her because she is drunk. So she's got a few d8s here of being hard to read because she's brash, drunk pirate. Let's go ahead and roll some dice.
I love her already.
Wow.
Well, I got a 13 total. I did roll a hitch.
All right. You did roll a hitch.
Would you like to buy that and get rid of your complication?
No, I'll use my complication on my next roll and make it go away that way.
Sounds good. So then it goes back to you as you're sort of asking, like, is that true? She's like, yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah.
It's just me. It's my island alone.
Mm-hmm.
My home, you know.
She's unbreakable. She's like a sphinx.
She's like a sphinx.
This part's broken on a sphinx.
How do I move that over here? I always have this problem where I'm trying to move over.
You gotta like put it into like the top sections. There's a
The very
little
top
box
section.
with a little, yeah.
Doesn't want to do
Be
it.
top.
Hates it.
Oh, did
Can I
you
have a
end your
word?
roll? That might be why.
No. I've got my dice pool. So when I did a cancel roll, what happened was it reset everything back to the dice pool.
Mm.
We say as we're talking about these things that no one can really see.
Content. Great content.
Content.
A+.
So hang on.
Yeah, just drags over, but just into the like top inch.
The top
Of
end.
the dice.
Well,
Yeah.
you'd think that would be what I do, but I'm not. It's not working out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my stone skin and I'm going to drop it down to D4 because I can do that.
There we go. Okay, that works. We made it happen. Yay!
Yeah. Okay, so roll again. Trying to beat 13. Don't think I can do it.
Oh, yeah, it's a little. Okay.
Really can't.
All right. So
Now will you
when
buy
you-
my hitch? I've got another one.
yes, I'm gonna buy your hitch. You're gonna take stress. So you're gonna get D4 stress onto your. I feel like this would be your reason.
Okay. Yeah.
You're getting sold on this.
I am getting sold. And do you want to step it up with that hitch then?
Yeah, actually, that sounds great. That's a great idea, Cam. So that's gonna be a D6.
Well, because you actually beat me by a heroic success amount anyway.
Did. So that should then be a D8 reason
That
stress.
sounds like it. Sounds like it.
What is your reason die rating?
You'd be amazed to hear this, but it's D8. So right now I'm still fine.
You're still
But if you
okay,
can
but
take
you're
it
getting
higher.
close. So you haven't been completely. You're not fully buying this live, but like she's greasing the wheels a bit, and your sense of reason is going a little out the window. Yes, just mine. So you mean you're welcome to stay. I have some libations. If you'd like, I can go.
Am I smelling
get
this
them,
on her breath
bring them.
too?
We can just.
Is she clearly like sourced? Can I smell this?
Oh yeah.
Well, then she's not gonna lie if she's this blasted. I think. Well, look, obviously she's telling the truth.
Well, I'm not blasted.
That's what I'm saying. She's clearly telling the truth. She's obviously had some of her libations. Her inhibitions have gone. She's telling us everything she needs to know. I believe her, quite honestly. So that's
Great.
fine.
All right, I believe her.
Yeah, this will be great. This will be a hard lesson.
This is just a really great start to our friendship. So let me just hop in. She just starts to kind of like nervously kind of squeeze past Lysandra and Zeph, and kind of gets to where like Tony is. It's like I've gotta.
I'm
It's
just
kind
like,
of hard to.
yeah, go ahead. Go back to your house.
And she kind of crouches down and just kind of like opens these reeds up and just gives you a little like thumbs up, and then just starts to sort of squeeze her way down into this crevice.
And that's what getting
Abs-
played looks like.
I'll turn like, wait, hang on, what?
You just got played, Tony.
And as a couple of minutes go by, as you're kind of just waiting for her to return, and then the ground beneath your feet starts to rumble a little.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little.
Okay.
And then a gout of hot air kind of starts to come out of the crevice as something sort of just kind of breaks open, and just this release of a geyser, almost, but just the start of one, just this little kind of like starts of it. And And then you see as some of the water from the ocean start to kind of wave in, like the tide is coming in way too fast and kind of shape, and this rock begins to kind of raise up, and you see kind of the tops, these two rocks kind of turn into these jackal-like ears, and as it just kind of moves its head up, you see this face elongate out of the stone of this dog face, and then the reeds and the water begin to form feathers as the Siren Eidolon begins to manifest itself and pulls itself out of this island, and beneath it, in its claws, because this is kind of like the top of this jackal and this bottom of this bird, held in its claws is this great pirate ship.
Holy!
That is pulled up and out of this island, and then just kind of set down onto the waves, kind of like shifts, and the water kind of comes out towards you, and this figure with this dark, long, kind of scraggly hair, hat kind of off to one side, shirtless male, except for this kind of like coat that's sort of just hanging off one shoulder, steps to the bow and just kind of looks down at you all, very clearly in tune with this power of this siren beast. I believe you've come to the wrong island, friends.
Oh no.
Yeah, we did.
What would you all like to do as you are now faced with a ship of siren cultists, a siren endarch, and a siren eidolon?
That's a very large thing of large size.
A very large size. The eidolon itself is bigger than the island itself that you are all in. Like
it's a little larger, isn't it? It's just very small.
Yeah. And I will throw it in this moment. I feel like the quickest of this group is Zeph, and you were also very prepared for this to go wrong. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this to Zeph. What would you like to do?
I will note, by the way, before we go too far, that the Gorgon and the Siren are foes.
Enemies.
This is not good.
So are there in the ship? Are there lots of other people in the pirate ship that it's carrying?
Yeah, you definitely see there's a full crew. Definitely enough to pilot this ship.
Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna say, "Hey, Gorgon," and I put up my mask and say, "Looks like you got to dance with an old friend." I've got his buddies, and I zoom up to the pirate ship, and I just want to start flipping around and just wrecking people.
Let's do it. All right.
Break things away.
So we're in action order. For those of you who don't know how that works, is that goes into action reaction. So whoever is acting, they roll first, and then whoever's defending is going to roll second. And I will tell you, Joe, that this is a 4d8 mob of pirates.
Gonna beat the holy hell out of all of them. Okay, here we go. So I'm rolling first.
Rolling first. And yes, I should also say we did summon an eidolon, so we're gonna give away a book.
Yay!
That drama deserves some book.
All right, cool. So I'm using my newly stepped up warrior. I'm outnumbered, so I'm using my grace to quick fight everyone. I'm using my. I'm using my Anakark ability. So I'm kind of flexing out, right? Like the lion legs are kind of there, and all the griffin stuff's out, and eagle eyes are dropping in.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm feeling the situation. Definitely feeling this situation. My spear is on the boat, so I'm going claws, because I'm just gonna start ripping into people and running around. This is gonna be so bad for me. I'm so excited. Okay, boom.
Oh dear. Oh.
I just died. Oh, I had a plot point. I forgot it. Oh well.
Oh, outstanding.
Can't use it for anything.
And an asset.
No.
I forgot that too. Darn it.
Oh my god. Okay, well.
It's okay. I just
Three
blew this.
delightful hitches. You got a 6. I would like to throw to you, Joe. What is that?
Okay, here's what happens.
What is a D10 complication of this? I mean, it doesn't mean you failed it. I could roll worse, technically.
I've got
make it harder though.
So, Zeph just like zooms up and he's just all cocky and just like all substance, and the siren literally just goes whack and just like knocks him, I don't know, clear to where, just out of the air. And he just goes sailing to wherever you want him to go sailing.
Amazing. All of your momentum kind of used up in this moment, and completely thrown off course, you hit your back hard against the mast of this ship, and you kind of get down. Now they're coming around to you. You lost kind of that advantage of first blood, and you still have a chance, so you're still kind of using this moment. You've got a D8 with a 6 on it to fight them off, but we got a D10 table's turn is what I'll call
Table's
it.
turn complication.
Oh, that's a big one. All right. Well, this isn't gonna go awesome, I feel like, because I got some dice over here.
Hopelessly outnumbered.
Yeah. So I got 48s to start with. Just that's their mob thing. We got the D10, and we'll leave it at that. We got 48s and a D10. I'm sorry, with going against a 6. This just feels mean. It feels mean to do.
Oh my goodness.
Love it.
Yeah, easily overcoming you. So you're gonna get a D8 of stress. I'm gonna go ahead and put this onto your courage.
Oh, they're probably not gonna stress him out with a reaction.
Oh, right. Okay, thank you. Yes. So never mind. Ignore me. It just means that your attacks fail. So you can describe to me as you hit this mast, you get back down to the deck, they're surrounding you. Describe this to me.
Okay, cool. So I sort of charged my first guy and kind of maybe do okay, and then I can't keep mentioning this cape situation without that just immediately coming to play again. And just like last time, someone just like immediately steps on it, and I just face plant, and it's just it's almost just like a smash cut to a bunch of, you know how like I think it's in Kung Fu Hustle, there's all this beautiful Kung Fu work, and then they do a smash cut to everybody just mob kicking a guy just like all around him, which is like no technique, no beauty, no choreography. So yeah, it's literally just that. It's just Zeph kind of like covering, as best you can while just these people are just surrounding them, just kicking the holy hell out.
Absolutely. They're pirates, so they're definitely just absolute going at you with no mercy. Love it. You get to pick who goes next. So you can pick one of your friends, or you can pick the mob, or the endarch.
I live for paying them up. No, I am. I mean, we gotta even the odds. I'm going with Tony.
Because if you pick the endarch, then the Eidolon goes right after him. So that's not super cool.
Wouldn't have been, but he picked you. So Cam.
Yeah.
What is Tony doing? You see as the siren just knocks Zeph off course. You can't see him now, but it doesn't sound great up there. And this other endarch just very casually sort of leaning at the front of his ship, looking down at you, very confident.
I mean, I don't think he knows. I don't think you can just sort of like pinpoint exactly an endarch's, I think you can sense other endarchs being around once they've got that connection, but I think it's not like, oh, that's the Gorgon. But I'm going to make sure he knows, because I've got a couple of decades worth of built up systemic cultural antipathy towards the Sirens, who keep raiding coastal ports around the Eidolon, and we have to keep fighting them off, and they're nasty pirates. They are the worst. You'd think that the Minotaur would be up against the Siren, but no. No, we are the ones who hate them, and it is all down to me. So yeah,
establishment racism based on cultural misunderstanding. Roll for it.
Tribalism.
Yeah, we have absolutely no sense of resolving this in a way that is peaceful. Okay, so but what it means for me being a big guy is I've got plenty of amazing rock behind me on this island, right? I can sort of look behind me quickly and feel there's a bit of content.
Yeah, there's a bit that's been left over.
All right, so I'm gonna.
There's also there's igneous rock. There's a little bit of now that this is broken out, you can tell it's probably been here for a while. There's some magma and some bubbling going on down there, some lava.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna start calling into the echo and saying, Gorgon, I summon you, and step back and my hands go out like this. And as I do that, I'm gonna start pulling it forward out of all of the rock and the sea and the magma from behind me. And the shape of the organ is a giant oar with wings and the tail of a serpent. I can't. The Eidolon has to wait a turn before it does anything, so it's still assembling itself together out of the environment. But it is going to be roughly the same size, if not a little bigger, than the Siren, because it's a big pig and it's not a little dog bird.
Yeah, for a sense of scale, you as people are about the same size as the eye of one of these creatures. They are massive. So you've now summoned your Eidolon. We can do a giveaway in chat for that. So we got 2 Eidolons above this just tiny little speck of land. And who would you like to have go next, Tony?
Well, I think it's a good idea for the endarch not to go last, or he'll turn around and do his thing again. So I'm going to have the endarch go next, the Siren endarch.
Okay, so this endarch just sort of watching as this Gorgon comes up, and you can see his face change. That he was very much he was very cocky, and they didn't come up, necessarily start swinging. But seeing this, he kind of turns, sees the Zeph hit the post, and just kind of laughs a little, and just kind of waves a hand, almost telling his people oh, just relax. Just give us a moment. And then he turns and sees this start to happen, and the face changes to a little bit of that same just culturally ingrained fury. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of takes a moment and tries to make a decision of what is worth it and what isn't, and kind of scoping that Lysandra and Zeph also kind of giving that endarch influence off of them. And you see for a moment that maybe they're second guessing this, but then as your Eidolon pulls itself out of this same island that they've claimed as their own, they're just they spit off the side of their ship and then just take a running leap off of the end of the ship and just come down with an elbow towards you.
Okay.
And so they're gonna just do a little roll to attack you.
So we don't have, neither of us have our powers available to us.
No. Your powers are shut down. It is just mano a mano.
Yeah.
And let's see, we got 8. And then they have a warrior die of 10 and a vigor die of 6. That is their ability, so go ahead and roll that.
Oh.
So, would you like to purchase that hitch? You do have some stress there.
I thought I do. I've got D8 reason. It's not getting. I don't think reason's even coming. If I use reason, it'll be affecting it. But I don't use reason for this kind of activity. So I'm gonna. Oh, I've got 3 plot points. Yeah, I'll spend 1 and step it down by 1.
All right, so step that down, and you gotta beat a 16, Cam.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough. Okay, so I've got a warrior 10 as well. And my vigor is a D8.
Ooh.
I'm a big-hearted captain, but the captain part is really good. I've got lots of training in military stuff. Everyone has to go through that training in Iadrim because we have these horrible Siren pirates attacking us all the time, so we'll have to make sure that works out. I can't use any powers. I don't have any assets of any kind that I can use to do anything with at this point, but I could spend a plot point to get one. So I'll do that. I'm going to create this, say, for my people, I guess is what I'm going to call it.
Sure.
And then I'm going to try dragging this over here, and it worked.
Hey, you did it.
I feel better about myself now. So I got to read a 16.
All right. You got to get a 16.
Well, I've got one more plot
left,
point.
Eh?
I'm going to drag that in there and get a 17, which stops him from doing what he does.
So they come down. He jumps down with just this incredible, power, like grace and litheness that you wouldn't expect. But instead of coming down and doing something graceful, they just come down with their shoulder. They just want to knock you cold and unconscious. So describe to me how that defense works as you block them here.
I've got a lot of wrestling, pancration background. Obviously that's the kind of thing I like to do when I with my hands. I'm always hefting large chunks of marble. I've got things I've got to set up and do that kind of thing. I'm not the strongest person. I'm not the biggest guy. But
just
I know how to use...
sinewy Greek boys just
I got to use this
up and...
the center of gravity. And he hasn't pulled his sword out or anything. He's doing physical stuff. So I'm not going to go to that length because I'm an honorable military man. So what this comes down to is me just pivoting out of the way and using his own momentum to slam him down onto the ground and get out of the way.
Sounds good. And so, you do that, and he just kind of flips around pretty quickly again, very graceful in his movements. And he just kind of wipes his mouth off of the sand and grimaces at you. Came to the wrong island, big boy. And we got this. Well, he's a Gorgon. He's a boar. We're gonna go ahead and have the Siren now follow him up. After that unsuccessful attack, but the Siren is going right at its enemy, the Gorgon. And Cam, I know that if an Eidolon is going to be attacking a person or a city even, that it gets an advantage of scale. Yeah. When it's Eidolon versus Eidolon, do we include that scale because they both have it?
We don't include the scale die when they go against each other because it's kind of cancels out and it's just more dice to add in.
Do you have a die for attacking an enemy though, right?
Yeah, so what happens is it gets to include the endarchs distinction into its roll, which is a D8. So for all intents and purposes, it still gets that D8, even though it's not using it at scale.
Excellent. All right, so let me this Siren form, which has been made out of rock and water and a little bit of streams of lava and this kind of geyser of heat as it kind of just moves its wings. It's like steam geysers. And it is just opens its beak of rock and it opens its maw of rock rather, since it has a Anubis kind of jackal face, kind of opens up and just this scream of sound emerges from it as it is going to kind of just try to shatter the form of your Eidolon.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna round together the dice board.
All the D12s in the entire...
So many. So it gets 2d10s as its base.
Yep.
And it gets, this is, I guess in this case, this would probably just be bigger. I'm going to put bigger. And then it has a D8 for its screaming. No, D12 for its screaming, rather. D12 for screaming, and a D8 for being your enemy, your sworn foe. And hopefully I did that right, Cam. That feels right.
Well, how did you roll a die in for power? Because it gets a D12?
Yes, that's the D12. Perfect. So yeah, I got 2 D10s for just its base trait, a D8 for its attribute, a D12 for its power, and then a D8 for being your foe.
Yep.
Boop. Giant pile of dice. Wow, that's not that good.
No, you were hoping for lots of awesome, but instead you got that.
Well, great.
I'm out of
With
plot
this-
points. I'm not activating anything.
Cool. Zeph, you also have a complication. So if you would like to tell me how you use an opportunity here, you could step that down to a D8 from a D10 by spending a plot point.
Oh,
If you can give me a good narrative.
As a indication of what you could do, and not really for suggestions, but I think that the main thing is something the Siren did made it easier for you to get out of the predicament you're in.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe like the scream sort of like threw everybody on the boat off, and everybody kind of went whoa and sort of fell over or lost
Yeah, they
their
are
balance
pretty
and-
drunk, so.
Yeah.
That's the problem with Siren, though. Always
Zeph's going to take that opportunity. I'm going to spend that plot point.
Perfect. So you
Just
get that
step-
tables turned down to a D8 from a D10.
Great. And so he's going to... He tries to kind of like fly off and just like regroup, and he's just pretty beat up right now by many boots. And kind of as soon as he gets in the air, it's kind of like, and just sort of like kind of like makes the mast and is just sort of the looking basket. What's that called?
The crow's nest.
Thank you. I like looking
Looking
basket.
basket.
I'm pretty.
I mean, I
I'm
feel
pretty
like
sure-
looking basket is
I'm pretty sure I'm right. But anyway, the looking basket, which history will agree with me, is correct. And most nautical experts, he kind of like makes it up to that thing, and is just that's sort of where he has retreated.
excellent. Cam, can you go ahead and build me a dice pool for your Gorgon?
I will do that.
Love it.
First of all, I'll add this thing because that's...
And roll poorly if you wouldn't mind.
Okay.
What's this? Oh, roll poorly? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Sure.
As a favorite of Mellie.
Just for me.
Just as a favor. The Gorgon, as defending itself, has stone skin. It's obviously not going to be worried
Definitely.
about, ridiculous things like, siren shattering kind of sonic screams. So that's that. The base dice of 2d10s, so one of those and one of those. Wait. Oh, I was doing so well, and now it's not working. There it is. Haha.
Yeah.
And I also include my D8 Gorgon's Petrack, which is the thing, the phone.
Yeah, and I think it's an attribute as well, right?
Yep, which is a. What are the things that we've got with the?
It is going to either be a D12 or a D8. If you've got, what is the Gorgon?
Gorgon has 2 highlight
signature ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, courage and reason. So if you're using courage or reason, it's a D12. Otherwise, it's a D8.
I think it's not. It's using a D8 to kind of get out of the way.
Yeah.
It can bravely do all kinds of things, but it is not bravely getting out of the way of this.
It's not bravely just getting hit by a sonic burst.
No. All right, so I'll have to try and beat a 12. Do-do-do-do-do-do. With a 15.
Well, that's gonna do it. So rude. You don't want me to beat you up. Okay. I will, however, go ahead and I can activate that hitch.
Okay.
Because then I can put a complication on the
Eidolon.
Eidolon, that's the word for it. So it's me a D6 crack in the armor.
Crack in the armor. Oh no.
There's one tiny like hairline fracture.
Mm-hmm. And it just has a huge bellowing. Oink.
I love it. Excellent. So that is the endarchs' turn. It's endarch and Eidolon, and I'm gonna go ahead and I could do the mob next and let Vanessa end the round, which will let you guys kind of have the next round started, or I could throw it to Vanessa, and then I can sort of control the next round. But I'm kind of interested to see what you guys can do with some time. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna have the mob go next.
Okay.
There's some people kind of like looking at you as you go. They kind of turn, Zeph, as you've managed to kind of make a little bit of an escape as this sound has happened. So some of them kind of turn and they look to you. The rest of them are turning to focus on their captain who just swan dived off of the ship. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of trying to decide what they should do. And you get this moment of recognition from them that above everything, they seem really loyal. And a large number of them break off from the group and they start to make their way, and they're kind of grabbing ropes and they're all making their way down from here. And I'm actually going to go ahead and split this into 2 mobs, I guess. Is that legit, Cam? I feel like that's legit.
I think it sounds legit. What do you think? Does it sound legit?
Sounds legit.
Maybe to quit.
So, too legit to quit. So I'm going to have one of the mobs, though, will stay, and they're trying to get to you. It's kind of a more of the stragglers, maybe more of the ship's folk than the fighting folk.
And one of them is like, he's up there in the looking basket, which is what it's called.
Yeah, it's the looking basket. Yeah. Why didn't we think of that? And so they're trying to get up to you and kind of grab onto that very long cloak that you have and give you a good yank.
Oh, you forgot about that, didn't you?
2 d8s, and then you've got a d8 for your tables turned. Tables are turned.
Was it turned?
I got turned.
I got a 15 on those two. My Eidolon can't get above a 15, but I can get a 15 with a couple of d8s.
Yeah, it's weird that like the small combat's doing great, and then we finally unleash the kaiju, and they're just like tripping on each other and they have allergies. Yeah.
Like I said earlier, there's this weird disconnect. But go ahead, Zeph, and tell me how you'd like to defend against these people yanking on your cloak.
Cool. So, I mean, sort of... Okay, so here's well, those are both the same now. Whatever, for flavor, it doesn't matter. As one of the guys gets like a good hard clutch on the cloak, and Zeph's gonna go the Tai Chi route and just use their momentum against him and like unclasps it, and just the guy's like and then all of a sudden he's just like so I'm gonna use Thief because that's a tactic Zeph's probably used to get out of a sticky situation before. I'm going to use his Grace again, because this is still speed things.
Like Grace or Guile, definitely.
Yeah. Because this is also going to involve probably swan diving back into them. I'm gonna keep my powers in play, and then a little bit. I'm gonna say flight. I mean, they're all the same score, but just for flavor, I'm gonna say flight because he like lets the cape go, stands up, reveals that he's not just a Griffin Endarch, but he's also an Abs Endarch, and he's an Abs Dark, and everyone's like, wow.
Look at them! They're just kind of like shielding their eyes as the sun catches.
Yeah, it's crazy. The sunlight catches.
You oiled them at some point. I don't know when you had the time to do that when you were unconscious.
Get oil.
Yeah. And he sort of like tries to like catch wind a little bit and just like make it over them, so he's back on the ship's deck, but has a little bit of distance.
Yeah,
all assuming that this works.
Which distinction are you using, Joe?
Yeah, my Anakark. And do I have? Okay, my plot point's gone.
Yep. So You can get a plot point if you hitched a distinction. You could get a plot point, which you wouldn't be able to spend in this phase of making your thing, but you could spend in the next phase.
Here's what I am gonna do, Mellie. Is he sort of he's in pain, right? He's having a hard time sort of like focusing, and it's all very like overwhelming. And he sort of grasps the token, takes just a moment to like focus and to just like see through all that to add his asset to the pool.
So the asset that you have of that thing with your brother was a temporary asset.
Son of a gun.
So you still have that physical item, but you would need to invest plot points in it to step it back up. But I will say, you are defending against 2 or more foes at this point. You have an ability, I believe.
I do.
So that you can, if you use speed, I think you can have a little fun with that.
Hang on, let me. Okay, yeah. I do have like a cool thing, right? I never look at the book.
In this game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's true.
and I've never really messed with them, to be perfectly honest.
Because that endarch did not use a manufactured weapon against me. He just used his elbow.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, man.
Let me find.
Yes,
Sorry,
I
where's
believe
my-
you can step up your speed die if you're defending against 2 or more foes. So
Yeah.
you could make that into a D10.
I think you're right. I have my actual character sheet somewhere, but I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you click on the SFX little word there and it pulls up what you have on the side.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, you're right. Hey, yep, I gotta step up that speed die, baby. Okay, perfect.
Plot point, right? It just happens.
Yeah, it just happens. So I'm gonna step up my speed, which is my grace, right?
So it would be your speed power. So you'd use that instead of flight. You can
My speed
use
power.
multiple powers narratively, but yeah, your speed would be the power you'd use, and you'd step that to a 10.
I'm with you. Okay, now I'm rolling this sucker. Thank you
see.
for the reminder.
Oh, you're so welcome. You rolled so many hits from me earlier. I felt like I owed you.
Aw.
After all that.
After all of that, wow. Okay.
Well,
I'll buy the hit so you can have a plot point. So
Okay.
I'll step up the table's turn again. Go back to a D10.
Did you roll,
and
did you roll an 11?
11, yeah.
An 11, yeah.
Well, you narrowly avoided.
Yes, they didn't step up at least, but you're going to get a D8 of stress, which I'm going to go ahead and do a D8 grace stress. Because you get yourself free of your cape, make this guy start to fall, and you dive off of here. These people, they're very good at improvising. That's one thing. They have kind of just this, ramshackle weapons and all of this, but this one who threw off kind of grabbed onto some of the rope netting stuff, kind of hung on to that, and then as you went by, 2 of them kind of have your cape in hand, and they lasso you with it and pull you in and start to kind of just like start to try to tie you down onto this.
We've got to get rid of the cape, man. I'll tell you.
That's insulting.
So many problems.
That's insulting.
So your kind of grace is a little more limited now as they're trying to keep you down. And the other half of the mob, they're working their way off of this ship. It is a production. They're not an endarch. They're not kind of like a very impressive person. They're a bunch of drunks. And so they're having a time. That I think takes up their turn is to get down onto the beach, which means Lysandra, you are up and you're going to end this round, which means you'll get to choose who goes next in the following round. So you tell me, what would you like to do? As we've got Ectonios in like hand-to-hand combat with an endarch, 2 giant kaiju-sized eidolons fighting, and Zeph on the ship, hopefully.
Doing great as far as you guys are concerned, because you guys only saw half the pirates come down. So as far as you guys know, Zeph just like
he took out half of them before he died.
Got it. So let me see. Zeph's somewhere near the basket, near the looking basket.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the ship exactly? I'm formulating a plan.
Yeah, totally. So the ship is just like a little bit off of the island. Like basically the Siren came out and just like set it down gently into the water. It is not it wouldn't be able to take off from where it is. It is definitely somewhat beached.
Somewhat beached. Got it. Would I be able to trick the Siren into picking up the boat again?
I won't say that it's impossible, but you would know that the Eidolons themselves, they would have a scale die against you. And so it would get to keep 3 dice in its total to defend against that.
Got it.
You can try, but it will be difficult.
Okay.
But technically, you could also try something crazy and give yourself the first turn of the next round. If you really want.
I kind of want to try something crazy, and I also kind of want to use Zeph in whatever state he's in as bait.
All right.
What I want to do is put Zeph out there as bait, and I want to get into the pirate ship because these guys clearly have a lot of booze. They've all been drinking, and booze is really flammable, and I make fire. So I want to set this pirate ship on fire and put Zeph out there as bait and see if I can get a little 2 birds, 1 stone action and get that Siren to pick it up.
Okay. Sure. So as this has all sort of been happening with all this other action, you've been trying to get into the ship itself.
Yeah.
And set up a nice bonfire on board this ship.
Yeah.
And your goal is to get the Siren to want to sort of get the ship in the water, is my understanding. Is that correct?
Yeah. Basically,
right.
I just want to give a nice little grenade to this Siren.
Okay. Sure. So you've got it all set up, and now you're just trying to like convince it to get close so that you can set it off. All right. Go ahead and throw together a dice pool using some guile and trickery to make this work for you.
Got it. And then would I be able to use Zeph as helping me since he's my bait?
So you get on the ship, and these guys are kind of tying him off, and getting him down, and you can definitely sort of kind of get in there in one of your shapeshifted forms maybe, and whisper to him and set something up, and then Zeph, you can tell me what you'd like to do to contribute to this, if anything.
All right, I'm just a bird on your shoulder, and I'm just like trying to convince you to help me lure this Siren into picking up this grenade.
What can I? Let's see here. What can I do to convince the Siren to pick us up?
What if you're just really insulting?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I just start shouting at the. Oh no! I start shouting at the endarch. The captain.
Okay.
About how I'm like our organs, but it hurts because his ribs are shattered into 1,000 pieces. But I'm like, our Gorgon isn't even a fighter. He's just a big teddy bear. All he can do is hug you to death, and you still haven't beaten him. You're nothing. You're the worst Siren. Blah 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 blah. What are you gonna do? Lose to a good feeling?
All right. What's your guile die, Joe?
It is Sonic Boom. It's an 8.
All right.
Yes!
So you can add an 8 from Zeph into your pool.
So I have my own guile. Would this be a guile or a reason on my end?
Totally guile.
Guile.
Definitely
So I have
guile.
Yeah, I have my own guile. I have fire breath, and because of that, I'm using Chimera's Mutarch as my distinction. I have Zeph's 8, and then now I'm just. Is this the act of a warrior or a priest or I don't think this is a scout. I'm gonna go with the act of a warrior.
Yeah, I mean, it's warfare.
It's warfare.
It's warfare. All right.
Ooh, I'm choosing to make a real lofty throw here.
It is a very. Hey, I love it. I love it though.
How much worse can I make things now? All right. God, I wish I had my cat around to blow on my dice, but all right, here we go.
Bad.
It's not bad, but it's not what I needed.
Uh-huh. I mean, you've got a plot point. You could pull a 2 into that, make it a 17, or you can just leave it a 15.
I'm gonna make it a 17.
All right. I'll buy that hitch from you as well. I'll buy that hitch. And I'm just gonna make that hitch ally on board because I mean this is putting all your lives at risk here.
Oh yeah, me, Zeph, everyone.
That's great. Great. Okay. Well, 17. All right. So I've got for this. It has a base trait of 2 d10s. And then it gets other stuff on that. So
Yay, more stuff.
More stuff. It's gonna have so much stuff. So it gets an 8 of scale. It gets this would be its reason. It's trying to like outsmart here and understand that this is just a ploy. So that's a d12 of reason. But I think that's it because the deadly claws, flight, deafening scream, none of that will help it. So it has 2 d10s, a d8, and a d12.
And the scale die. You got that in there?
I put that, yeah. That's the d8.
And no matter how this goes,
foe die.
no matter how this goes, I want to congratulate Ness on being this week's Hector Navarro for over-the-top, absurd, and complicated combat choice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mellie.
Well,
It
if
gets
you
the
had not
three dice,
spent that plot point,
so it's gonna
I
have
could
that
have
3
beaten it.
anyway, right? It's
it's
gonna
gonna have
keep that
3
effect.
anyway, but it's fine. Yeah, if you had not spent that plot point though, I would have just won. But because you made that a 17. So first off, I've got a hitch here. I have a hitch. So tell me, would you like to buy that hitch? With the plot point you have, you can step down the complication that I just gave you, or you can just leave it on the table and, Cam or Joe could buy them if they would like.
We could just laugh at it.
Or you can just laugh at it.
Yeah.
Ha, 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 ha.
I think I'm gonna buy it.
All right, so go ahead, spend your plot point. You step that complication down to a 4. Ally on board. As this thing, as the endarch, as Zeph, you shout, Actonios, it gets this attention. It turns away from you for a moment, this guy, and sees sort of the seeds of what's happening, can kind of get a sight of kind of the stuff that's been sort of piled up and ready for Lysandra's move, and can also sense this sort of distraction of the Eidolon from its own foe and down onto this ship. And so both of them are now watching, and he turns to you very much wanting to sort of deal with you as this enemy, but loving their ship far more than any kind of desire to do anything, and shouts, "Oh, hold up. All right. Got off a bit on the wrong foot, but let's not, be careful with that ship. It's an antique." And they just have their hands raised. The other pirates that have come down, all sort of starting to slow. People on board the deck, they've kind of like, they're holding you down, Zev, but they also just kind of like, they hear this booming voice. They're just, don't really know what to do. And the Siren's starting to make its kind of swoop over, but kind of under the command of the endarch. Instead, it just kind of circles. And it's like right above the ship as they hold and they wait for you, Lysandra. How would you like to respond?
I'm gonna set the thing on fire.
Yeah. Blow it.
I'm gonna blow it up.
Absolutely. You have the success here, so I'm going to go ahead and let you as well. Just tell me what happens with you and with Zeph with this moment of fiery incredibleness.
So I'm at the bottom of the ship where all the rum barrels are, and I use my breath to start the fire. There's a lot of rum because, again, these are a lot of pirates that are drunk all the time on an ocean. So the fire starts to rumble up, and Zeph is fully aware of it, but still smack talking. Do the pirates start to dissipate around Zeph so I can start trying to free them?
Absolutely. They're not like, oh, fire, no big deal. They're like, yeah, we're just jumping off into the ocean.
Perfect. And I go up towards Zeph and I start trying to like untie him as quickly as I can because we're now on a burning ship that's just beached on the shore. So we're like literally the worst place that a ship on fire could be in. And so I'm gonna free Zeph.
Absolutely. And in this moment of just this rage fills the endarchs' face, and then they just kind of let the siren do the thing that you wanted it to do and just kind of get into this. So it just enters this blazing fire. You can watch as pieces of it just getting burnt off and just kind of falling, but the pieces of it that were made of water, these kind of the tail feathers and kind of some of the edges of the claws kind of come down, and it's grabbing at this and pulling it deeper into the water and putting out some of these fires, but it's using kind of all of this essence from this endarch to do it. And it just kind of turns and gives this one last angry shriek at the form of the Gorgon above it before it just kind of collapses into just this like spray of water on top of it, dissipating in order to save this ship. This one thing that the endarch is so passionate about. And the endarch just kind of stands there, hands raised, glaring at you, Actonios.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really a nice thing to do when you come into somebody's house, but what can I expect? And we cut to you three now, and Phoebe, who just kind of hid because she's a human, normal person. All of these pirates are under sort of your purview at the moment. The endarch is standing. If you would like to have anybody disarmed, they have assented to that as they have been defeated. And we now come back to it's just after midday, and this endarch is willing to talk if you'd like to.
So there's going to be a huge flying pig-shaped remains of the endarch the Eidolon, after I dismiss it. I think we've reshaped this island quite considerably.
Yeah, it has a hole in the middle now.
Yeah, and I just like dump it there so that it's going to go once we know this is all fine. I'm letting it go because I don't want to have it out too long. And I've said to Ness, to both Lysandra and to Zeph that I don't think I can have a good conversation with this guy. So I'm going to stand back and just sort of arms folded, glaring at this whole group. So if you need anything, he's like, if you need something, just come over here and tell me and I'll rough him up some more. It's a whole different side to him than you've seen so far, I think.
Little cat, that there was a lot of good wine on board that ship.
Yes, I noticed while I was there, albeit for the brief period of time that I was. But now you've got less of a chance of cirrhosis, or you could use that room for fruit now, because I've heard scurvy is a thing. Let's... I'm sorry about your ship.
It's not really the ship I'm worried about now. It's seen harder days, but I am a little worried about my men, women, and everything we had on board there. That is a lot of work we put into collecting all of that,
Well, speaking as someone that also lost a large collection in a fiery blaze, my sincerest apologies, but also, I do not behave well as a cornered animal, considering I've got a lot of animals in me at all times. But let's start with the most obvious. Why did you attack us?
As I remember, you attacked us. We simply set sail.
Got it. Well, and I'm just gonna start tapping Zeph like I need someone to tap in.
I've got this.
You know, I was gonna say that I think we have some like honey or something on board, but I think that probably burnt up as well.
That's just his throat all the time.
We can get some seaweed wrap or something.
Zeph like winces his way over. Just like, you're gonna be straight with us, or what I did to your men is gonna happen again.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna tell us all about. And then Zeph pauses because legitimately he's been under the influence of Skotos for like most of the important plot points of the story. And he's gonna look back at Lysandra and just be like, What? And then he turns back around to Lysandra and is like, why are we here?
We're trying to see if the fates are a thing. We're trying to see if the fates are a thing so we can figure out what the scrolls say, because I can't read them, but I can read everything.
And he turns back around to the guy. I'll say it.
Let him say it. He needs this.
You're dealing with me now. You had your shot with her. Now you're dealing with bad enough.
Okay.
Where are the fates? The fates? Where are the fates?
From the stories, wouldn't be able to say. I feel probably a little more northwest into the sea. I mean, if you had come here asking for help getting to magical fairyland from books, I could have, for a fee, taken you there on my ship, but instead, you lit it on fire.
Did.
Okay. Let's not get caught up in who lied to who and then ran into a basement and then summoned an eidolon without any further conversation.
Yeah!
Or then who single-handedly took on most of your crew in a glorious melee combat situation, or who set the ship on fire, or who surrendered. It's all behind us now.
Why don't you tell me why you're looking for fates, and why you're here, and why you came, from what I heard, in a tiny little boat?
Oh, do you want to know?
Yes.
I'll tell you. And then he turns back to Lysandra and is like, I need what? All of those questions I also have.
Tony's getting a little fed up at this point with the like, I'm going to leave it to you to talk it out, because I can't have a conversation with this guy because I'll get mad. And now you're having this whole like, what are we doing? I have no idea. What are we doing? So he'll just step forward at this point and then start poking the guy in the chest, like, like, hey, kind of stuff. Says, you're the one who made the aggressive attack on us. You're the one who set the people up. You're in the way of us, and we just want to get the fates so we can solve some problems and stop the shadow.
Okay. He grabs your finger, just kind of pulls it back a bit. All right. So I'm short of information here. Short stuff. So what is the shadow? I feel like I've just woken up from a very long sleep and a whole bunch of things have happened that I'm not privy to because all of a sudden people come to my island. One of them, you. Two of them, you're fine, I guess, except for, you lit my ship on fire, which is not, but I don't understand why you're here.
Well,
if you walk into someone's house, you ought to have a good reason, and you can't fault us for trying to defend our territory. So, I tell us, and maybe we can work something out for a fee, or you can take your boat wherever you put it, and you can go.
Phoebe's our money lady. Phoebe, pay the man.
Well, we sort of left quickly. I don't have any. We have some, dried fruit and spices.
Oh, no.
I give him the spices.
Oh, that could be rum in a few months.
Here, we have glorious spices from Ophelium, if you would like them.
All right, let's go with truth, since clearly nobody wants to tell that today. I have some scrolls that I saved from a library that got burnt down, that I got blamed for, that I'm pretty sure this guy lost someone in. And Tony, I'm still kind of hazy on why you're here, but I'm fine with it because you're nice to me. But I just want to know what they say, and I don't know if the fates are real or not, but I do know that you don't write about something unless it's something worth mentioning forever. So there's my truth on the table. Where's yours?
Well, good luck getting an ounce out of drunken pirate captain here.
You really think the fates are real?
If we're being honest, then I'm gonna say yes. I think the fates are real.
And you really think that if they are real, that they'll answer your questions?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I have most of a ship, most of a crew. No, all of my crew, actually.
I made sure.
He eyes Zeph a little bit up and down.
I don't take lives until I have to.
It's very honorable of you. I can tell you're a griffin. I would love to have my own word with the fates. So, I would be happy to help you with passage. But if your little friend here, and just eyes Ectonios up and down, turns on me or summons that thing again, I would be more than happy to give myself and my ship a watery grave at sea and all of you with it.
I think that's a fair deal. Oh, this is so cool. It's like the pirates I read about.
I can suspend hostilities for the short term for the benefit of all, since we are collectively trying to take on something much more dangerous and problematic than this watery dog-faced boy.
Appreciate it. Then let's get on board and we can make our way to the fabled ruins of the thing. And he starts to walk away very confidently, starts to kind of gather up the men who look a little more trepidatious as they look to all of you, but realizing that this looks to be like something that might be working out, you all get on board this pirate's ship and you begin to make your plans for getting to the Fates ruins. And we'll pick up there next time.
Yay!
Oh, pirates!
I'm going to
Mellie,
call it a
thank you.
win, though. That's a win, right? We got a
That was
win.
definitely a win.
That was a
definitely a
win. I
I'm
can't
counting
believe, Vanessa, that worked.
Lofty throws, baby!
Amazing. It was amazing, amazing. excites me so much when that happens, even if it also throws me for a complete loop. Joe, can you do some business for us?
I can absolutely do some business because I'm a grown up, and grown ups do business. Mellie, congratulations, and thank you so much on giving me the materia summoning moments of my dreams. That was super fun, and thank you guys so much for being here again. Go check out. Is Eidolon Alpha on the Cortex website? Did I make that up? Is that true?
It is on the Cortex website if you have the book. So if you have won the book tonight,
okay, if you buy the book,
purchased it,
you can access.
find Eidolon Alpha.
Okay, perfect. You can find Eidolon Alpha. You can find Hammerheads is on the website. That's the one that's on the website. That's another setting we've done. Tales of Xadia, the official Dragon Prince RPG, available for pre-order right now. Also powered by Cortex. Again, it just every week I keep playing this game. I love the character basedness of all of it, and thank you guys so much for being here. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching from the future. Hit like, leave a comment. We super appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next week on Roll and Keep. Oh, and stay tuned. We have some like kind of cool announcements for the show coming. So some fun things coming. Bye, guys.